buds, I'm the real Gary V, and today we'll be discussing the unwanted ginger children of the elves. A group of soul rejects who are so poorly designed that Teclis wanted to get rid of them and start over. Luckily for them, they are some of the best hide-and-seek players in all of the Mortal Realms. Because of this, everyone now has to deal with the odd raid from a bunch of smelly fish elves. Introducing the Idoneth Deepkin. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It helps my channel get recognized by the magical YouTube thinking machines. Thank you very much, buds, and on to the video. During the end times, the god Slaanesh ate way too much beef Elvington and went into the world's longest food coma. Afterwards, during the Age of Myth, Sigmar freed the elf gods, who then collectively decided that voring is weird and they were going to do something about it. Teclis, Tyrion, Malekith, and Morathi all trapped Slaanesh and made them throw up a bunch of the souls that they swallowed. Also, just a side note, the guy who edits my scripts didn't know what voring was, and I had to explain to him / get him to Google it, and his reaction was priceless. Back to the video. Teclis took a majority of the souls last devoured by Slaanesh, thinking that they were that primo good shit for making the new version of the High Elves. Instead, he got the Synthai, who all came out of the factory with a ton of issues, kind of like my little brother. They were moody, insular, and resentful. Teclis, being the nerd he is, decided that they were broken and needed fixing. He tried fixing a bunch of them with his magic, which resulted in the deaths of many of his children. This in turn caused the rest of the Synthai to get scared shitless of him and run away. Being the spare parts elves that they are, they all decided that the bottom of the ocean was the best place to hide, setting up several enclaves through the use of magic, which gave them a nice, quiet, Teclis-free life. The only problem with this is they started having kids with a 1% survival rate at birth. First, they tried using magic to give the babies a boost, which didn't work. After that, they switched to animal souls. This would only work for a few days, and then the newborns would die. Deciding to switch things up, the Idoneth started using the souls of fully sentient things. This worked a lot better. Synthai society was now dead, and a new society based on raiding the surface world for souls was born. Now we have the Fish Elves, aka the Idoneth Deepkin. Since finding out their nifty little soul-stealing trick, the fish elf population has grown quite large, expanding all over the mortal realms, with new underwater enclaves being founded and deep-sea realm gates being taken over and used for raiding. Besides the killing of innocent people, there is a major drawback to this method of giving new life to their children. Only 10% of births yield a healthy, normal elf baby of the Achillean or Isherin castes. The vast majority of fish elves are born pale, blind, and withered. These are the Namarti, who serve as laborers, craftsmen, and disposable frontline infantry. They are able to do these things due to their other senses being much better than their sight. This still seems a bit far-fetched in my opinion. The Namarti are also extremely short-lived compared to all other elves. Most elves in the setting can live thousands of years if they are not killed. Namarti are lucky to hit a few decades of life. The Achilleans are the nobility and warrior castes, with everyone in the caste being a full-time soldier who helps out on raids to keep up their population. The Isherin are the smallest caste, making up less than 1% of the population. They are the few fish elves lucky enough to be born with the ability to use magic. Once adults, their function is keeping the deep seas city's magic going, transferring souls into newborns, and helping out with raids. The fun thing with the Idoneth caste system is it's not hereditary. 2 Achillean parents have as much chance of having a kid like them as 2 Namartis do. To get around this, babies are swapped in between castes as seen fit. If a Namarti has a warrior baby, good news, that baby's moving up in the world. The opposite is also true. There ain't gonna be no goddamn Namarti in any leadership roles anytime soon. When they're not raiding, the Idoneth are busy hiding, not wanting to be found by the tons of scary things out there. Some of these things include their dad Teclis, who does not give a shit about them at this point because he has kids that he's now proud of. The forces of chaos, who try to find ways to get to them to steal their already stolen souls. Nagash, who is upset because they are intruding on his turf of soul stealing. And finally, the most sinister and evil of the bunch, cats. The Idoneth probably all smell like fish, and I know a few billion fluffy, razor-clawed sociopaths that would love a can of Idoneth wet food. Despite being a bunch of fishy, antisocial weirdos, they do kind of get along with several of the Order factions and will fight with them if it means chaos is getting fucked with. The Stormcast souls cannot be stolen by the Fish Boys, so they will work together. The Lumineth and Sylvaneth are also team-up buddies, but they will not stick around long after the battle, in fear of Teclis might show up. Their best friends, however, would have to be the Daughters of Cain and Morathi, whom they have a formal alliance with and are the one order faction that is objectively evil, which is great for the Fish Elf's image because they don't look so bad in comparison. Overall, the Idoneth are a bit lackluster in the history department by design. During the Age of Chaos, they did a great job at hiding and keeping the raids to a minimum. During the Age of Sigmar, the Idoneth showed up late to the party and mostly kept on raiding and growing their cities. During the Necroquake and Broken Realms, they were relatively unaffected and ended up allying with Morathi, who just made herself a god. During the Era of the Beast and Skaventide, the Fish Boys just kept to themselves and didn't get too involved with the main plot like everyone else tried to. The most they did in the Dawnbringer books was start shit with the Crusaders and Stormcast, lose, and get relegated to a support role for the Dawnbringers after that. Where they do get plenty of stories is people looking for them in creative ways to get some of that delicious filet-o-fish elf soul. Some creative ways people have tried to get to the Idoneth are a pissy Nagash resurrecting dead sea creatures to attack them, the Skaven opening up a null hole to drain a smaller ocean so they could attack them, Knuckle pirates boring themselves into a dead sea monster, sinking themselves to the bottom of the ocean so they could then attack a city and destroy it. These attacks are very rare, and the vast majority of the factions in the realms don't know the Fish Elves even exist, and if they do, they don't know where to find them. The Idoneth have two named characters. Volturnus, the oldest non-god elf in the setting, and the High King of the Deeps. Being well respected amongst his people, he is the last surviving of the original elves that Teclis made in his test batch. Despite this, not everyone sees him as the end-all leader of the Idoneth. He's more just a super old, battle-hardened king that everyone respects. He is directly responsible for forging the alliance between Morathi and the Broken Gnomes saga, and he has attempted to be on more friendly terms with the other factions. However, this has not gone as well as he would have hoped. The other named character is Lotan. He is a soul warden that has a non-combat role in Idoneth society. Lotan is special, however. He likes to join in on the raids and shout encouragements towards the brave warriors fighting the barbaric and savage townsfolks and peasants. While he is completely useless in combat, he does have a handy Octobuddy that is better than most mortals in combat. He also has one of the best models in the game as of 2025. The Idoneth subfactions. The Iron Rack. These guys are the first, largest, and friendliest and diplomatic of all underwater cities. If you see the Idoneth teaming up with another army, it is most likely the Iron Rack. This is the city that Volturnus is from. Here he often holds group meetings with the other leaders of the Enclaves. Domheim, the second city and the complete opposite of the Iron Rack. They are the complete opposite of the Iron Rack, where they don't get along with anyone and often start shit with the other city's allies. They often employ extra eel cavalry and other sea creatures in battle over the other cities. Futhan, they are all about working and getting that pay, lacking any morals on how they get that pay. The pay being souls, as we all know. While the Iron Rack will spare the lives of children, the Futhan have no such issues with it, and will art the clown those little brats. The Achillean class rules the city with an iron fist, treating the other two classes like shit. They also prefer stealing elf souls over others, which has given them a very bad rap within the community. Morfan. These guys are a little bit weird, but they are way more kind to the Namarti working class, reviving them in battle and treating them a lot better. They have also just recently found a way to steal the souls of the undead and those of the underworld, which has pissed Nagash off to no end. The Naudalar. Living on top of a giant underwater crab, they are friends with all the turtle buddies, employing a shit ton of them in battle. They very recently had a ton of issues with the Skaven messing with them, but were saved by a combined force of the Iron Rack and Stormcast. The Breum Deer are an offshoot of the Iron Rack. They live in a giant kelp forest and have become experts at camo and sneak attacks. Being friendly like the Iron Rack, they've become friends with several of the non-Idoneth factions, and are also besties with the Tree Elves. When the Idoneth raid on land, they go all out with their fast-mounted eel cavalry, shark and turtle weapon platforms, and one-man army kings on their deep mares. They're being supported by a variety of wizards and non-magic characters, vast hordes of Namarti infantry that act as scouts and screens. Before the raider battle, their wizards cast spells that turn the battlefield into special underwater but not underwater-like conditions. This allows all their sea creatures to fly around on land like they were swimming in the ocean. The magic also affects the enemy's ability to properly move around and fight back. When a raid is done, depending on the group who's raiding, there is nothing left and no evidence of the Fish Elves. Some will leave the children alive, because no one's going to believe those little douchebags anyway. The souls are then sorted, processed, and added to the Idoneth newborns, giving them a new chance at life. In-game, the Idoneth are very much like the lore. They're a very fast hit-and-run army with some extra goodies added in. Every list should include a couple of reinforced units of eels, which come in either offensive or defensive flavors. Then you can add in a couple sharks with harpoon launchers, and even a giant turtle with even more harpoon launchers. You have a good variety of heroes to choose from in either melee, support, or magic roles. Then to finish things up, you can add a unit or two of Namarti Reavers or Thralls that act as screens, or if you take enough of them, a small horde of hard-hitting glass cannons. Please note, this next part, it is changing up in a couple weeks, GW just announced. This is after 3.5 editions of it being the exact same turn 3 fight first, just letting you guys know beforehand. Your special role of the army is the Tide system, which gives you a new role each turn. This has switched up a bit in between editions, but the one consistent is the almighty turn 3 fights first. This is what you're all about. For the first 2 turns, pepper away and harass your enemy. Then, on turn 3, charge everything you can in and go for the death blow. Everything in your army has fights first, and you're more than likely to completely kill your opponent or gimp them so badly they won't be able to finish the fight. Army Overview. The Achillean King. The greatest warriors of the Achillean caste who lead their cities into battle. Kings and queens both gain their positions through great deeds in battle and not by birth. They ride into battle on their deep mares, which are large battle seahorses. In-game, they're a beatstick that allows a unit of eels to fight right after they do. Valturnus. The oldest Idoneth around. He's a total badass in combat and rides around on his deep mare, USL, who is the king of deep mares. Which makes me think those are some smart seahorses if they're able to elect leaders. In the tabletop, he is basically a buffed up king with a couple support abilities. Lotan. The one nerd who likes to watch fights with his Octobuddy. In battle, he does not fight, he does give buffs out, and he lets his 8-armed friend fuck shit up. Achillean Thrallmasters. The loners and emo kids of the Idoneth that don't care for society's rules. They rebel from this by hanging out and treating the Namarti like equals and planning a fun road trip. In-game, they buff Namarti units and give them the ability to fight after he does. The Isharan Soulrender. They are in charge of going around and collecting souls on the battlefield and healing wounded Namarti. In-game, they can one-shot heroes with a special ability once per game, and they can heal Namarti once per turn. Isharan Soulscryers. Idoneth wizards who tend to keep to themselves. In their vast amounts of free time, they locate good targets of life energy, and hidden pathways where they can sneak around with friends. In-game, they are one-cast wizards, buff your units against enemy heroes, and deep strike a unit in with them. Isharan Tidecasters. These are the wizards who cast the spells that let their friends raid as if they were under the sea. They then join their buds in battle and cast further spells, admiring all the dead women and children that are being turned into baby soul food. In-game, they are one-cast wizards who give off a couple buffs as well. The Eidolons of Mathland. In desperate times, the Soul Wardens will call on the souls of dead Idoneth to come back as aspects of their gods. There's an aspect to the sea and an aspect to the storm. Basically, think of these as fish elf avatars of Cain that look a lot sexier and don't die in the lore from tripping over themselves. In-game, the aspect of the sea is a wizard support piece, and the aspect of the storm is a melee beatstick. Namarti Thralls are your basic troops. They roam around in large groups and beat things to death with tried and true big ol' axes. In-game, they are glass cannons, getting bonuses against infantry and monsters. Namarti Reavers are the same as above, but with bows and scouting abilities. In-game, they bop around and shoot things. Keep them out of combat, or they will die. Achillean Alapexes are a couple of Achillean warriors mounted on a shark with a harpoon launcher. Pure awesome. We just need some sharks with frickin' laser beams. In-game, they're a melee shooting hybrid unit that can go places really fast. Ishlan Guard, one of your 2 elite eel cavalry units. These guys are your defensive variety of eel. In battle, they are a fast-moving unit that gets defensive bonuses on the charge. Morsar Guard, the other elite eel cavalry in-game. These guys are super cool shock boys that will fuck you up. In-game, they get a charge bonus and extra damage on their spears. The Achillean Leviathan. You've heard of big pigs? Well, this is a big turtle that I don't have a joke for outside of the obvious TMNT or plastic straw jokes, so sorry about that. They are mobile weapon platforms and support pieces. In battle, they are great at just about everything except for the cost of fielding them. Gloomtide Shipwrecks. A train piece that gives you bonuses to your save, can be split in 2, and if you set up both pieces together, it gets double health. Thank you very much for watching, and it means the world that you guys are still here with me. I'm sorry I took so long. I've had a rough couple months, and I'm now in a better place living and all that, and quiet. I can now pump out videos a little bit faster than I have been. Thank you for sticking around. You guys mean me. Yeah, it means the world to me that you guys are still here. Bye. Also, congratulations IDK players on the new battle tone, the 2 new support units, and the summonable hentai. Enjoy that mental image.